is different for matchi and different for me. And we have, I think, 7 of them. When you're finished watching this video, please go and click on the link down below, because it will take you to Matchi's video, and that way you will be able to find out what prompts I gave her and what she came up with. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. The first prompt was, show me a book that inspires you. And for this, I picked Misery by Stephen King. Please don't get me wrong, this book does not inspire me to kidnap people or to try and murder them. It inspires me in a different way. I was thinking, if I were a writer or a poet or just someone who writes something, this book would be a huge inspiration, and it would be something that would probably get me through my writer's block many times. And it would also be an ideal to look up to, because this book is so well done, well written, the characters are so well crafted, and it's just perfection. This is how a book should be done. were like my role models. I was looking up to them and also reading this and laughing at all the silly jokes and, you know, being immersed in their world gave me so much comfort that now when I come back to it, because I am coming back to it, I'm still kind of rereading parts of it. It gives me nostalgia and it's so nice. It's also illustrated by the author himself. Not the whole book, but he designs the covers, and then there's always this at the very beginning, and it all refers to the things that are happening in the plot. We have like a bear or a fly, a pink boot with a spring instead of the heel, a bookshelf, a little toaster that is walking somewhere apparently, an outfit, some blueprints, UFO. So many different things are happening here, and in this series there's not much magic as in Harry Potter, but it's more of a science fiction-y type of book. There's lots of technology and science, so that whole series definitely gives me nostalgia. Next, she asked me to show a book that takes me to another world. And for this, I chose The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. And I know that the interpretation of this prompt didn't have to be so literal, but it so happened that I chose a intergalactic sci-fi novel. So it quite literally took me to another world. But I chose this one in particular because the world building in this one was exceptional, really. I was reminds you of summertime. When you think of such a book, you think something light and summery and beachy and light, fun to read. I wouldn't say this was light and fun to read, but it reminds me of summertime because I read it in the summer and because it takes place in both Spain and Greece. And especially the Spain aspect was very like hot and steamy and kind of dense, just like a very hot, tiring summer day that is just kind of exhausting in the heat, and you want rain to come. If you've never heard about this book before, it is, I would say, mostly about the tough relationship between the mother and the daughter, but also it's about relationships between the daughter and the people that she meets. There is a lot to unpack in this book. It's definitely something to read multiple times. It's very multi-dimensional, and I think each time that you read it, you can take away something new. It's even one of the few books that I have ever annotated. So yeah, it definitely reminds me of summertime. It's just not very light and breezy, if you know what I mean. Okay. Next is show me a book that teaches you something important. And for this, I'll have to check the original title. Wait. It is All That Remains, A Life in Death. A Life in Death by Sue Black. And what exactly does this book teach me? So, it is about death, but it's very, how do I put it? It's a book that shows death in a very normal and humane and also scientific and also refreshing way. Okay? That's what I would say. Because this whole book, like its point is to show you that death is actually a part of life. It's nothing to be scared of. It's nothing to run away from. It's nothing to try and not think about. It's not a taboo. And I, my whole life, have been scared of death. Not exactly of losing other people, that of course too, but of my own death. Even as a child, I was thinking quite regularly, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I'm scared of dying. I don't want to die. And I think this book really eased my mind I'm scared again. I don't know, or maybe when I will be going through a tough time, because I don't want to get too deep, but even though I'm religious, this was refreshing because there was no talk of redemption, of sin, of afterlife. It was just death, as it is. So I like it, and it taught me a very important lesson, and it kind of changed me, I would say. So definitely recommend. Maybe you're struggling with the same thing. Definitely recommend All That Remains, A Life in Death. The next prompt is show me a book that comforts you. And I feel like a broken record, but that's the prompt, I will have to say, It's, of course, for those who know me, The Lord of the Rings. I first came into this world about a year ago, quite late in my lifetime, I would say, but I find that happens with many things in my life, just like Harry Potter. This book comforts me in many, many ways. One of them is, of course, the aspect of escapism and immersing yourself in another world, maybe even more than with the sci-fi novel that I showed you, because of course it's even more descriptive, it's even longer, so you can just fall into a little pit and not come out for a few days, but it also comforts me with the memories that I have with it, if you know what I mean, because it was quite important to me last year when I was first reading it, because I was honestly going through a tough time. I was feeling a bit down, and I was feeling trapped in my own house because of quarantine, because of the pandemic, everything. And I was also trying to pass the exam for my driver's license, and I failed 2 times, which also kind of even made me feel worse. And I remember coming back home after that failed exam and having a nap, and then reading this book. And I remember it made me feel so much better. I'm so grateful. I'm tearing up, sorry. I'm so grateful that I had and have this book, that I can come back to it every moment, and I'm so glad it exists. Really. Oh gosh. I know that it's a comfort read for so many people, but I think for each and every one of us, a bit differently. And I'm glad I could share my story with you. Okie dokie. And the last prompt that Matchi gave me was show me a book that gives you joy. And again, I don't know if that's cheating. I hope it's not considered cheating, but it will not be a book with a plot. It will not be a novel. It will not even be a collection of poems. It will be an art book. This is it. I really enjoyed thinking of books that fit these prompts. Thank you, Matchi, for your wonderful, wonderful prompts. I loved it. I loved filming this video. I hope you had fun filming yours too, and I can't wait to see your video. And to you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like, maybe subscribe to the channel if you're new, and drop me a comment. That always means the world to me. I love interacting with you, and it's a